Hello, my lovely peaches. It's your host, Rach. Welcome to your midweek mindfulness motivation, because it doesn't have to be a Monday to start bettering ourselves. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Right Now with Rach podcast, where we keep it real and talk about all things self-improvement. I am so happy you are here, and I am so proud of you for clicking on this podcast, because I know it means that you are taking steps forward in your journey of personal growth. So welcome, you beautiful soul. Wow. Hi. I know it's only been a week, but I've missed you, peaches. Hope you're all doing so well. The conversation that we're going to have today, it's likely not going to be one of our longer talks, but it's been a really important one for me lately that I think a lot of us can benefit from. So recently, I've been really aware of how I can sometimes let really dumb shit affect me. Like little things. Listen, we all do it. We're only human. But are you also someone who's letting things that truly don't matter affect your mood or ruin your day? Well, that stops now. Me and you are not doing that anymore, okay? Because it's a waste of our precious energy. It really is. Now, full disclosure, there's going to be a few points today that I'm going to talk to you about that might be a bit tough to digest because it involves us admitting things about ourselves that we probably don't want to. But that's why we're here. We're on this self-improvement journey. So I strongly encourage you to just let it sit with you for a while and try your best not to get defensive and shut out the conversation, because acknowledging things about ourselves can be shitty. It doesn't feel good and it can be hard. But once you're able to accept it, it's going to help you so much by relieving this weight on your shoulders. It's going to help you in your relationships with people, your relationship with yourself. It's going to improve your mood. And it's going to prevent you from wasting so much of your time feeling negative. Like I always make note of, we only have so much time on this floating rock, and we don't know how much time. So the less we can spend being anything but happy, the better. Learning how to let go of little things means that we first need to take accountability for the role that we're playing and are allowing ourselves to be affected by these things. Because the hard stripped down truth that I've started to understand is that it is solely your own responsibility whether or not you get upset by something, okay? It's no one else's fault. Regardless of what another person does, you are the one getting upset. They cannot make you get upset. They can't force you to drink water, right? They can try, sure, or things in life can happen that can test you, sure. But you are in charge of your own emotional regulation, and you are responsible for whether or not something affects you. Which is why one thing will affect us all differently. And I know some of you might disagree with me, and that's okay. You don't have to agree with me. But I don't want to hear, well, this person did this, Rach, and this person did that, and this thing happened. I don't care what they did. They're not upset about it. I'm not upset about it. You're the only one that's upset about it, Peach. Because you get to make that choice. Just like I got to make the choice not to be upset about it when you told me the story. I hope it doesn't sound too harsh, but I'm not going to sugarcoat things, Peaches, because I respect you too much to beat around the bush. And I've promised you honesty, and you're here to look introspectively, and you're here to improve your life. Okay, so we're not talking about them. We're not talking about the things that they do, because that's not going to help us improve. If our focus is on something we can't control, like the actions of others, then unfortunately, we're not going to get anywhere. We are here to look introspectively, to admit things about ourselves, and take accountability about the role that we play in our personal growth. Because that's the only way we're going to make progress in our journey of self-awareness. Now, I want you to do your absolute best to look in the mirror and try to admit where your faults are. Okay, not to make yourself insecure or make you feel like crap about yourself. No way. It's to open up the areas that need improvement. And everyone's got them. It's not just you, and it's not just me. And I am totally not saying you suck, because you don't. I think you're fucking amazing. And I think the fact that you're even listening to this right now says a lot about who you are as a person and where you want to go. And the fact that you want to better yourself is huge. It's going to make a significant impact on your life and how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you. And it's going to propel you so far forward. Okay, you're here because you want to learn to let the little shit go. You're here because you want to learn how to improve your mindset. And I want to clarify, like, I'm not saying you can't be upset about things. No way. I get upset about things. You can't let everything go. And that's why a lot of these conversations we have can be tricky, because nothing in life is black and white. Okay, even something as terrible as murder, okay? Sorry, that went from 0 to 100, but like, it's the one thing you would think is black and white, right? Murder equals bad. No ifs, ands, or buts, period. But there's always an exception. Like, what if someone hurt your kid, killed your kid? Like, you'd go on a freaking murderous rampage and kill them too. And you wouldn't think it was wrong. And I wouldn't tell you it was wrong. And most people would agree that it was necessary. But the person who did it, who does things like that, no, they're just completely, utterly, horribly wrong. Okay, so I know that's like so not the vibe. Like, we're positivity here. But it's just a point that I want to make, that like everything's circumstantial. But anyways, so yeah, nothing is black and white. Which is why you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have to separate the two. There are a lot of things that have validity to upset you. You know, they have to upset you in order for you to figure out what to do about them. Like, people can't walk all over you. And I think some examples we can almost all agree on would be things like infidelity, death of a loved one, your cat running away, or little things that add up over time. You know, those are something to just let go of. There are things that we have to watch out for when we're learning to let things go too, because we don't want to let people take advantage of us just because we're so chill, or let emotionally manipulative people in because we might not see them coming, you know, because we don't let the little things bother us so much, and that might prevent us from seeing the red flags. And anyway, I can't tell you what holds valid power to upset you or not, because I'm not you. And I can't measure what's small or what's big to someone else, because it's all dependent on our own experiences. But you can, and I know that you know when there's shit that's really not that big of a deal, and you need to be honest about it. Because it's the little irritations during the day about things that happen in life or things that people do that you don't have to let upset you, okay? Like your remote running out of batteries, or your friend not texting you back for 24 hours, or your partner forgetting to put their cup in the sink. Like, let that shit go, okay? It's not an intentional attack on you or someone you love. It's not physically hurting you or someone you love. It's not something you're going to remember next week or even a month from now. Then it doesn't matter. It doesn't deserve your attention and your energy. It deserves a one-way ticket back to the town of it doesn't matter. Because you need to spend that energy focusing on good things and working on what makes you happy. And once you do that, if you want, you can go to the next level where you stop allowing medium things to affect you. Because think about it. If it's not something you can really do anything about, or it's like directly ruining your life, if those things keep upsetting you, then they'll affect you forever. Because sometimes there's just not a solution for outside things. And if it's not something you can fix, how are you ever going to stop feeling negatively about it? The serenity prayer is huge for this conversation. Allow me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Most of us have heard this before, but have many of you really understood what it means, like on a deep level? Really think about it. Let that sink in, because once it truly hits you, it is like this intense wave of, oh, and a light bulb the size of Mars goes off, and this conversation about letting things go and how to do it will make so much more sense. And it will be so much easier to start applying that to your life. And then the day-to-day inconveniences that you can't really do much about or couldn't have prevented will stop having such a negative effect on you. There are so many things in this outside world that are out of our control. Most things really, especially those that involve other people. So there's so much that we can just let go of. It doesn't matter. So much that doesn't need to weigh on our psyche. There is room for ultimate happiness and a state of contention. Contention? No, contentment. Sorry, words are hard. A state of contentment is what I was trying to say. Good Lord, Rachel. Sure, okay. Pretty much all of us would agree that someone bailing on plans that you made is annoying. But think about it. Is it really that big of a deal? What if your friend had something really personal going on? Or maybe they can't afford it? Or they're just don't have the energy and their social battery ran out, They're entitled to make their own choices, and they shouldn't have to be afraid of someone getting upset with them. We've all done this where we've made plans 1 week, and then 2 weeks from now, the plans that you made are coming up and you're just not up for it. And you make up some excuse not to go. Like, you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to back out of things because your situation might change, And you will be so much happier if you can just let things like that go. And honestly, your friends and loved ones will much prefer to be around you. You will gain a lot of trust from people because they won't feel judged by you or feel like they have to be on eggshells with the things that they do or say because, they know that you're going to be understanding and you're not going to get mad and you're just going to let it go if it's not that serious. I had this problem years ago where I realized that I could make my friends uncomfortable at times because I came across as judgmental towards some of their decisions or things that they do. And I always had good intentions of how I responded and gave advice because I love them and I want to see them be the best versions of themselves they can be. But I think that sometimes because I was on a different path in life than a lot of my friends at one point, they maybe felt nervous to tell me certain things in fear of me being annoyed or looking down on it. And of course, I didn't realize that at the time. And looking back now, I hate that I was that kind of a friend. I always want my friends to feel supported by me and definitely not judged or feel like they're on eggshells. I try so hard not to be judgmental. But I let the things that they did or maybe said affect me way more than it should have. Most of it wasn't about me. And I didn't realize I was affecting our friendship and their trust in me by acting that way. And getting annoyed by dumb things that I literally couldn't even remember now if I tried. Which is the point because it's irrelevant, so it shouldn't matter. Does what I'm saying make sense? I just think we could all stop being so hard on other people and so nitpicky when someone or something isn't perfect. We're all guilty of this to some extent, even you, Peach, even me. And I'm not saying I have all the answers because I'm on this journey with you. But I do believe that not having all of these crazy expectations of our relationships with people and not allowing minor inconveniences or dwelling on someone's differences affect our mood. We need to gain control of ourselves and not have the outside world dictate how we feel. We need to make the choice to be happy and to free our minds of all the little things that are taking up precious space. Make room for gratitude. It will enhance your life like you wouldn't believe. I'll leave you with a quote I like. Sometimes letting things go is an act of far greater power than hanging on. Thanks for chatting today, guys. Please remember to rate and subscribe and follow me on Instagram at rach.leonhardt. That is rach.leonhardt. Okay. I'll leave you like I always do. Remember, your direction is more important than your speed. A step forward, Even if it's just one, is a step in the right direction and progress you should be proud of. You are beautiful, you are smart, and you can do anything, including letting it go. Talk soon. Mwah.